Right, talofa lava, malo lelei, ni sambula venaka, whakalofa lahi atu, kia orana, and taloha ni. Warm Pacific greetings. Welcome to each and every one of you tonight. This is the second Unitec Forum for the Future, but before we get underway at any Pacific event, we like to open with a word of prayer. And he doesn't know it yet, but I would like to invite Whaavai, Trevor Ngangamoe, if he could give us an opening prayer for tonight, please. Whakamalo abito to you, Whaavai. Now these forums from Unitec, or the Unitec Forum for the Future, were set up to provide a space for high quality, thought-provoking and insightful public debate. Now this is in its third year, and the forum seeks out knowledgeable thinkers and speakers to discuss and shed light on the issues of the day that really matter to our nation, and in particular tonight to our communities. Tonight's 90-minute session will feature a panel-style debate discussion, and it brings together community, academics, government and industry representatives in a fascinating live event. And I suppose fascinating because this session will be open not only to our studio, but also to our online community who can tune in via live streaming the internet. And to help us find out a little bit more about that with our audience tonight, I'm going to ask our online host, and who was the host for the first forum on this series, which was Slug Creating Resilient Communities, is Rod Oram, who has over 30 years experience as an international business journalist and commentator. So Rod, you've got some details for us.
Yes, good evening, and my welcome also to you for to the Forum to the Future. So I'm speaking now to our online audience, and I just want to welcome you too. And we very much encourage your participation, and there's three ways to do it. The first way is to tweet, and the way to do that is the hashtag is UnitecFTF. The second way to communicate is by email, and our email address is utf11@gmail.com. And if you put in the subject heading written, so as I see that coming through, I know there's a comment you want to make, I'll make sure I relay those comments to Sandra and the wider discussion in here. Now, the third way to communicate with us is a real high-wire act technologically, and that's via video Skype. So if you'd like us to patch you into the discussion via video Skype, please send us an email to utf11@gmail.com and put in the subject heading webcam, and then tell us briefly what your Skype name is so we can get back to you by Skype, and what you'd like to contribute to this discussion. I'll then come online with you to make contact and discuss that. Keep you online while I come out to Sandra to let her know that you're here, and then we'll patch you in. So please keep all that in mind as ways of being in touch with this, and we look forward to your very active debate too. And I'll come back from time to time with comments from our online audience.
Sounds good. Thanks. Thank you, Rod. I look forward to that. So let's get into the business end of our discussion tonight, recognising and preserving Pacific languages in New Zealand. Little backgrounder, we know that Pacific people make up, well, just under 7% of the total population, according to the last census. Samoan is the third most spoken language in New Zealand. We know that Cooks, Niue and Tokelau come under the Protectorate of New Zealand. In fact, the Governor-General, when he does his official welcome or his opening, will always, in his opening remarks, start in English, then Māori, and then sign language, followed by Cook Islands, Niue and Tokelau, because we come under their protectorate. Well, they do. But the languages are recognised as threatened languages because not enough people speak those languages here in New Zealand from those island groups. The Pacific communities continue to grow, but recent studies show the ability of those people to speak their native tongues is diminishing, particularly among our youth and our Pacific people born here in New Zealand. While the Pacific population does continue to grow, there is a fear that there was a loss of cultural identity in this trend, and we need to look at what can be done to prevent this from happening. Can Pacific languages survive into the 21st century and beyond? That is the heading for tonight. It will not be the only thing we discuss because there are lots of issues around this topic, and we do welcome your thoughts on it. So I know that last year the Ministry of Education stopped production on the Tupu and Folanga series of Pasifika language reading books and journals. The Ministry says their top priority for curriculum support materials was to support foundation learning in English, and so paused production of the books because it did not align with the goal of every child achieving literacy and numeracy levels that enable their success. The Ministry reported they would carry out a review to find out how this curriculum support material will best raise the achievement of Pasifika students in English literacy. We want to look at that as well tonight. This caused outrage in our Pasifika communities from Whangasa, who said the plan to cut these two important and much needed literacy resources is short-sighted. The Education Union NZEI says it is ironic that the government is removing a resource which can actually make a difference to student learning. A petition to get 5 Pacific languages officially recognised as minority languages spoken in New Zealand, and the basis of perhaps a Pacific languages bill, that was formed. That was from the Bilingual Leo Pacific Coalition, who will present a petition to Parliament, to both Sua Viliamusio and also Peseta Sam Lotoinga on Thursday, with over 5,000 signatures on that. As well as that, 12 families have complained to the Human Rights Commission. The goal is to develop Pacific languages as official minority languages. And I know that the Ministry of Pacific Island Affairs is also looking at a Pacific Islands language strategy. These are the issues that we want to talk about tonight, and to help me do that, I have a fantastic panel of experts and also leaders in our communities. Joining me here on my left, first of all, is Peseta Sam Lotoinga from the National Party, and he is the MP for Mangakiakia. He was first elected as a Member of Parliament in 2008. Born in Samoa, he was raised in Mangere and currently resides with his wife Jules in Onehunga and their beautiful baby. He was educated at Auckland Grammar School, went on to the University of Auckland to attain a BCom and LLB, and also a MCom, Master in Com. Honours degree. He also holds an MBA from the University of Cambridge, Queen's College in the UK. He was an Auckland City Councillor, where he was chairman of the City Development Committee. He's also worked as a solicitor for Russell McVeigh, a financial analyst for Bankers Trust in London, and as an executive consultant for Macquarie Bank in Australia. Quite an impressive CV there, and we're really excited to have him. Please put your hands together for Peseta. Also on the couch next to him, Dr. Lesieli Tongatio from the Ministry of Education, the Chief Pasifika Advisor. She is the Puli Maata from the Pasifika, Senior Manager of Pasifika Education, leading the development of the Pasifika education plans and making sure that the Ministry of Education is responsive and accountable for Pasifika education, and that staff are Pasifika competent. Lesieli was born and raised and educated in Tonga to senior secondary level before coming to New Zealand for further education. She has taught at secondary and tertiary levels in Tonga and in New Zealand, and owned and operated a private training establishment. was the Academic Director for the Pacific Islands Senior Management Development Program for the public service offered at Victoria University in Wellington before moving to the Ministry of Education. Lisiele has bachelor's and master's degrees from Massey University and last year completed a PhD in Education and Pacific Studies at the University of Canterbury. Please welcome Lisiele, Dr. Lisiele. I don't want you to all think that this is Tongan heavy, but our next panellist is also Tongan, journalist and consultant. Sefita Hauli is a Tongan bilingual broadcaster and journalist and has lived and worked in New Zealand for over 40 years. He's currently a self-employed consultant to government on health, employment and communications issues. He has work experience in consumer advocacy work, media, print, radio and television, communication strategies for the Prime Minister's Department in Wellington, Counties Manukau District Health Board, the Department of Labour, Employment Relations, the Ministry of Labour, Commerce and Industries, Tonga and the World Bank, and Community Advocacy, Broadcasting and Media. Early childhood education and the National Heart Foundation are some of the places he's also worked for. Sefita works with a small group of Tongan linguists to promote Tongan language internationally and throughout the country, really, for the world, with a special interest in translating official and public information text from English to Tongan, or from English into Tongan. And an accomplished journalist and a pioneer here too for our Pacific media here in New Zealand. Please put your hands together for Sefita Hauli. Joining Sefita on the couch, Whai Mai Duimonga, who is an educator and president of Whangasa Auckland. She's a highly qualified educator with many years of bilingual Samoan English teaching experience from primary to tertiary level. She holds an MA in linguistics from the University of Waikato. She's currently the president of the Auckland branch of Whangasa, an independent non-profit organisation for teaching Samoan language and culture in Aotearoa, established in 1976. Whai Mai is a community representative on the National Pacific Islands Advisory Group for the Ministry of Education. She was previously the Community Languages Coordinator and Program Manager and Education Advisor for early childhood education through to secondary level at the Pasifika Education Centre. She has produced literacy resources, including a Ministry of Education resource for teaching Samoan as a second language to Year 7 and 8 students in mainstream schools. Whew, that's a lot. Please put your hands together for Whai Mai. Next to Whai Mai, we have one of our politicians, an outstanding one at that, from the Labour Party. Carmel Sepuloni is a Labour Party list MP and New Zealand's first MP of Tongan descent. Okay, maybe we are a little bit Tongan heavy tonight, but I won't make any apologies about that. She was first elected into Parliament in 2008 and became Labour's spokesperson for civil defence and associate spokesperson for tertiary education and social development. She is Labour's candidate for Waitakere in this year's general election. She was born and raised and schooled in that big Pacific metropolis of Waitara in the Taranaki. She moved to Auckland in '96 to attend the Auckland College of Education and University of Auckland, where she attained a diploma teaching in primary and a Bachelor of Education respectively. She also holds a graduate diploma. Her father was a Samoan Tongan migrant, freezing worker and staunch unionist, and her mother was a Pākehā from a conservative family. Before entering politics, Carmel was a teacher with teaching experience in Samoa and with Auckland Youth in alternative education programs, an equity manager and a research project manager in Pacific Health at the University of Auckland. Please, everybody, hands together for Carmel Sepuloni.